Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Dark Sage Wolfer, and now now that I've done the big thing, now it's time to pop back into the Signature Arcana Spotlight series. So let's go back here. Let's see, what have we done already? So that's done, that's done, that's done. Pretty sure I did Glacial Cross. I think what we have left is Frost Scimitar and Aqua Beam. Is that really it? Frost Scimitar and Aqua Beam? I thought I also still needed to do... No, I did that. We've done Dragon Surge. Maybe Glacial Cross is still left to be done. Like, do you guys remember if I've done Glacial Cross already? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to Glacial Cross. But we're going to do Frost Scimitar for now, which that just straight up counts as projectile. So what's the best way to use Frost Scimitar? Well, it does multiple things. It launches a rotating scimitar out and just drags enemies back to me, which I can use that for a strong melee effect, so you can use it as a means of crowd control. The initial hit does good damage, it's got good range, it has a unique effect. Like, there's a lot to love about Frost Scimitar. It's just a matter of how do you want to use it. Do you use it as a primary attack? Do you use it as a crowd control? Do you use it to set up something more melee focused, which I think is a good idea. So we're going to do something odd with this one. We're going to go Awe, and then we're going to go Dark Katana. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hey, Dark Sage, that doesn't exactly work with Frost Scimitar. Maybe not. But it is going to work with a few other things. Yeah, listen to those birds. They're just happy to be here. Alright, so now for our standard. Let's see. Because there's a lot of really good ideas here that we can put together. And if we just use... Like, if we just use the... There we go. That's kind of what I have in mind for this build. And then for our basic, we want something that works well with the whole melee idea. And while we've got some happy birds here, just really letting you know what's going on. You know what? We're going to try this. So this is going to be a very interesting, kind of awkward build to use. It's going to be a lot of dodging around and using Frost Scimitar as sort of a stun and crowd control. That's right, buddy. And then really abusing the movement of ice daggers. The obvious focus is going to be on Frost Scimitar just because of how well it does what it does. Like, this is one of my favorite Arcanas just because of how effectively it works. So while we're waiting to get the retro floor plan, and we've got some happy birds just letting you know what's going on, and trust me, that is some happy bird action going on there. I want to, first of all, thank you guys for being patient with my upload of the first part of our Signature Arcana tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and of course, if you disagree with any of my rankings, by all means, let me know, but do so in a civil manner, because I can call myself an idiot just as effectively as anyone else. I don't need you guys to do that to me. But more than anything else, I hope you guys found it both entertaining and informative, because I do try my best to let you guys know what's up with any given arcana. Like I go through a lot of different facets of what I know about the different arcanas. So hopefully you guys found at least something in there that's you either didn't know or needed to be reminded of. Okay, we're going player's choice, so I am just going to choose the original soundtrack this time. Mostly because I have a huge soft spot for the original soundtrack, but if I roll player's choice again, I will obviously pick something else. Okay. What would be the best place to start? I think, because of what our signature is, we're going to start with Atlas. Just get that out of the way. Then we've got Shu and Miss Zeal. Alright. This shouldn't be too bad, at least I hope. Okay, that first room was a nightmare. But now we've got our signature cast, which just throws a bunch of them out. And they all do the same thing, but I don't see a problem with that. And now you're starting to see what it is that I like about this so much. Okay, the Balestra is probably my best option. That has a nice sweeping effect. You know, I'm just gonna go with it. I'm surprised that guy's still up after all that. Oh yeah, you're getting Bird Serenade. So to be completely transparent, I am recording this before I go to work today, which means we're recording at around roughly 1 p.m. That does mean that, yeah, I know what I said about Anchor of Burden, but this time around I think we've got a good chance of making it work. Okay, so we're not going to end up using that very much. Yeah, there's really nothing here that I want. I suppose what I do is grab this, and then we'll just kind of see how that works out later on. Yeah, I think I'm good. You see how long Frost Scimitars will just sit out there for doing damage? Like, the initial hit, of course, is nice, but your real benefit is just how long they'll sit out there spinning and doing damage and then dragging enemies into you. So Frost Scimitars can get a lot done with, and the other big benefit that they have is that you get multiple of them that you can use. It has 2 charges. But we are also running a very tricky build, so as strong as Frost Scimitars is, I'm also having to really pay attention to my movement because I chose kind of maybe ill-advisedly to use a very difficult build. Now, when I say difficult, I want to stress that this is difficult for me personally. That doesn't necessarily mean it's difficult all around. It just means it's difficult for me. I do think the absorption coil is a good idea just because I am taking a bunch of damage. Probably best not to go with that so early. I will go with the Tattered Scroll, though. And because this is also good crowd control, we'll take that. I'll grab it, but it's not necessarily the grandest of things to have on board. Alright, so what we really need is the upgrades for Airburst and Spiraling Typhoon. There we go. That was a pretty good fight. I don't know if I'm going to use Mock Stunner, but there it is. So the really nice thing about Frost Scimitar is that it does a lot for you. It's primary damage, it's crowd control. It just does so much. It's just a great combo piece because it's so versatile and open-ended with how you use it. And that's kind of why I chose a purposefully difficult build, so I could show you guys kind of one of the primary ways to go about using this. And even though it doesn't necessarily pierce projectiles, it does stop them, so it can also be used as a makeshift and oftentimes unintentional means of defense. Yes, we will be coming back to the Hand of Midas. So as you can see, what I'm doing with the way I have things set up is I'm using Frost Scimitar as sort of like a ranged crowd control, which, yes, admittedly that's what Spiraling Typhoon is doing as well. But then Frost Scimitar has the added bonus of it's also what I'm using to set up my combo. Oh, and fun fact, you can use Frost Scimitar to drag enemies into the abyss. So once again, they're fighting on that versatility angle in that you've got multiple things that you can do with Frost Scimitar to just make the enemies feel so sorry that they picked a fight with you. And because they just sit out there and last for so long, you can essentially use them as shields to dodge around the enemies and, again, just make them feel very stupid. Alright, so once again, not Dr. Song, but Iris is being very iffy about upgrading the things that I want upgraded. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised, that's generally how this works out. Alright, is there anything? Oh yeah, Oh, it's not Hand of Midas, it's Glove of Midas. Of course. Because if the glove fits, it must be made out of gold because of who's wearing it. Yeah, that's how that goes, right? Ugh, air rogues. They're such jerks. I mean, this is probably as good of a defensive relic as any. See, actually, I kind of like my setup as it exists right now, so probably not going to use Nocturne services, but, you know, there he is. Oh, it's a big room. So even though we haven't upgraded many of our Arcana, we are doing just fine. Wow, she just honestly refuses to upgrade any of our starting options. Thanks a lot, Iris. You're making this way harder than it needs to be. You realize that, don't you? Fortunately, we seem to be doing just fine without having to worry about that. But it is rather annoying that we're going through all this trouble to try to improve, only for her to not allow us to improve. But still, that's the power of Frost Scimitars, that you can just be carried on the strength of one Arcana by itself. Oh, lame. Beautiful. And this is kind of what I keep talking about when I talk about the power of spells that can kind of do everything. Like, this is, once again, what I talk about when, or what I'm talking about when I'm talking about spells like Twin Turbines that seem to be able to handle everything by themselves. Like, you take Frost Scimitar, you're in very good hands. Because you see there, partially what I did was I just used Frost Scimitar as a way of blocking enemy projectiles. Ugh, Fire Knights. Yeah, that Fire Knight ambush really did a number on my health. Oh, hey, finally. So now Airburst is hitting in a much larger and much more powerful area. And Spiraling Typhoon is, like, doing stuff. There we go. Mercury Sandals will really help out. Kind of negate some of the penalty that we're taking for holding on to the Anchor of Burden. There, see? See how everything comes together? Alright, probably gonna need a healing potion because we got slapped around pretty hard. Oof, definitely. Definitely, no thank you. Ooh, I like Binary Splashdown, but I don't think this is the right run for it. Alright, do you have a Crimson Clover for us? Oh, beautiful. Alright, so we definitely drop this for the Crimson Clover. Yeah, this run is kind of being hard countered by elemental mages and, you know, the long-range guys. You know, the ones that normally cause you problems. Hey, why did everything stop right there? Actually, if I had to answer my own question, it's probably because of how the Frost Scimitars work. Like, depending on what's kind of stopping your Frost Scimitars, it can just kind of cut short, like right in front of where you want them to go, because they do get stopped on walls. So because of the huge arc of the signature cast, they'll all just kind of stop in one spot sometimes. It's just... sometimes that works out heavily against your favor. See what I mean? If once one or two of them get stopped, then they all just kind of stop at about the same distance. And I imagine that was done in an effort to try to make sure that this bad boy didn't just get completely overpowered. But you can probably guess as to the idea that it does limit its usefulness at least a little bit. Now, on the other hand, it works out in your favor there when you can just shotgun all of the blades into one enemy's face. So, you know, big upside, big downside. High risk, high reward. There we go. Now, part of what I really like about... Part of what I really like about Frost Scimitar, as you've probably already noticed, is how easily it combos other things together. Like, this whole run was basically set up around the idea of comboing Frost Scimitar with Spiraling Typhoon. A little bit of hubris there, but that's fine. Oh, baby. Hang on. Well, you know we have to take that. It's a shame we got this so late in the run. But you can clearly see the sort of power that's gone into this. Like I said, Frost Scimitar is pretty much a hard carry. It just enables just about everything else aside from the spiral rumblers. Ooh, smooth. We did it! Oh, I cast it the wrong way! I'm such a genius! And there we go. See? Frost Scimitar. It's so good, it works well in an off-type build. And that's kind of what I wanted to show off, is that Frost Scimitar works so well that it can be used in something that doesn't directly synergize with it. It can just be an intervening piece of a puzzle and still be great. So there you go. It has, again, there is some high risk, high reward involved with the signature cast. Doesn't even matter. So there you go. Nice icy scimitar win for us, and I'm feeling like I'm on a hot streak now. So thank you guys very much for watching. I appreciate you coming and spending some of your free time here with me today and supporting my channel. I hope you're all having a fantastic time, and I hope this video finds you well, and I will see you in the next one. My name is Dark Sage Wolfrain. Take care, everybody. And the birds will say hello. The birds will say goodbye too if they want to. Oh, of course, I spend all this. They spend all this time talking while I'm recording. Now they're dead silent. Figures. Take care, everybody.